Big up to every one of you. Therapy Army, how are we doing? I hope you're having a nice time wherever you are in the world. If you're in the UK, I hope the sun is shining and you're having a wonderful day. Big up to you if you're in different parts of the world and it's morning and evening or whatever, in the afternoon, whatever time it is where you are in the world. So big up to everybody. Therapy Army, let's be having you. This is the end of season review. And then towards the end of the show, we're going to get into a bit about the Glazer. The Glazers, I think, are staying with Jim Ratcliffe. So we'll get into that because I'm hearing multiple different information from different sources. And that's all of it is pointing towards the direction of the Glazers staying with Ratcliffe, Jim Ratcliffe. So basically, the Glazers are staying. That's what everything's looking like. But we'll come to that. But first of all, Tom, how you doing? Fresh from the trip at Wembley. Are you still in the big city? Or are you back in lovely Sheffield?
No, back up north.
Back up north.
I can't set the prices anymore down south. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, big up runners in Therapy Army. Raw, real, red. That's what we are in it. Raw, real, and red. It's raw, it's real, and it's red, mate. That's what it is. Yeah. That's actually, you know what? That's what we're gonna call it. I think that's what we're gonna call it. Big up Stephanie, because I've used that before. That's the podcast now. The podcast is called Raw, Real, Red. That's what it's called.
Big up.
Big up. That's the name of the podcast. Monday podcast. Raw, Real, Red. There we go. Big up to everybody. I agree. Casado would be a game changer for us. 20-year-old best player like Haaland. We've not seen in a lot. Strong, quick, and good finisher. Hey, it is what it is. But Tom, I hope you're well. I hope you had a good day in Sheffield. I'll just say to you that Manchester United, for me, they've let me down, man. They let me down. The players let me down. One, you play against a team that has got a better quality than you. The greatest equalizer is the way you play, your level of intensity and physicality in the game, and the level of shithousery in the game. And Manchester United did not have aggression, intensity, shithousery. And you can no way try to me, if you can't bring it in a Manchester Derby FA Cup final when there's a trophy on the line, I don't know when you can. But big up to you. You were there. You saw it with your own eyes. How was it being in that stadium? You know, Tom? Oh, Tom will be back in a minute. Big up to every one of you people. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed, people. Smash a like on the video, and let's be having you, Therapy Army. Let's be having you. Hopefully, I'm gonna try. If I go back, hopefully my phone will let me go back. I'm gonna send a link to Saeed, so just bear with me, people. I can't do two things at the same time, so just bear with me, please. Let me just get the link for Saeed. Yeah, I'll send it to Saeed. But guys, smash a like. Tom, I was saying you were there. Yeah. How did you see it? I mean, how disappointing was it to see that there was no fight, there's no shithousery, there was no aggression? And I always said to you, the way that Ten Hag plays, if you don't bring the aggression, if you don't bring the physicality, if you don't show the intensity, then you're gonna get beat. So it is what it is.
Of course, but look, there's no, how can I say? There's no bad thing in admitting that you lost to the better team on the day. Like there is no, frailty in that. But the one thing that I will say with Manchester United and the players is, I don't honestly believe that a lot of those players that played yesterday, especially on Saturday in the starting 11, I don't honestly think a lot of those players will either A, be staying, or B, even be sitting, having a first team spot or be guaranteed of it. I don't think they will, personally. That's just my opinion. Because I look at a lot of the squad and I think, well, for once in a transfer window, Manchester United have a lot of interest in their own players, of whom are either on 1 year left on their contracts, or like have been homegrown players, if you like, for Manchester United. So I think a lot of what Erik ten Hag said, and I do think he said it as maybe a relief thing against Fulham, is, we got over the line, but these players, they'll give everything. Like in that emotional speech at the end, where we'll give everything. These players will go again.
That it didn't.
But that's the thing that I'm getting at. It didn't happen, and you can take it for what it is. Lack of enthusiasm, games, whatever. But I don't believe in excuses. I believe in answers. And I think Erik ten Hag really after the game, I think he gave a lot of honest answers that maybe we've wanted to hear for a lot of the season. He's never once in the last, even since the problems in the mistakes and errors, he's never once confirmed David De Gea will be his number one next season. He's saying I'm happy for him to stay, but he's never said when he's been asked will he be number one. He's never gave a clear and definitive answer. The same thing with players like Jadon Sancho. Are they part of your plans? Like, what's your development plan for Jadon Sancho? He's never outlined what that is. Whereas some players he has given a definitive answer. Marcus Rashford, I want him to stay. We're in deep negotiations with him. Marcus wants to stay. We want him, and I want him personally. He's given definitive answers on some players, but there is question marks over those others. The only thing that I think, anyway, especially from when I watched it in person and live, was that the Manchester United that I saw last time, which was when I went to a game 2 years ago, was a completely different atmosphere to what I saw on the pitch. I saw a couple of players who gave something, whereas before, 2 years ago, I saw nothing. I'll be real honest. I didn't really see anybody who gave me an impression of that's what a Manchester United player should be. There was a couple, but 2 or 3 against a squad of upwards of 20 perfect players ain't ever going to cut it, is it? You might get away with it one game like we did at Old Trafford, but aside from that, I don't really think there is any badness in saying that Manchester City are just a way better team, club, and operate a lot better than Manchester United do. And they deserve where they are today. Let's be honest. Love it or hate it, yeah, they're the noisy neighbours, but they deserve where they are. Just like Manchester United years ago, we deserve that success because we built it. And Manchester City have built up to this point where they have a potential to do some historical, 115 charges, whatever. They built to this point. But the one thing that I take anyway, just as a final point, is Manchester City's owners will do anything, and I mean anything by any means of the stretch, to win.
By any means necessary.
They will break the rules. They'll breach charges. They'll do whatever they've got to do. We know they ain't the clean tidy.
And that's, you know what, Tom? That's the biggest, if I'm envious, that's what I'm envious of.
Yeah, but this is the thing. You have owners who are like that. They'll do anything to win, even if it means risking being in the competition. They're that
They're driven to win.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roman Abramovich was probably the exact same argument at Chelsea. He was a winner. He wants to win. Whereas
and Chelsea are doing the same right now.
Chelsea are doing the same. Look, the thing is, people
look at this now, Tom. Just 1 second. PSG have drafted a legal letter to complain to Sporting Lisbon on Sunday after media reports emerged suggesting Chelsea might take a stake in the Portuguese as part of the proposed transfer of I can't say his name. Ugarte. Listen, that is madness. So they want to invest in a football club to get the player. That just shows that that's Chelsea. They'll do it by any means. They hoarded all the best young talent around Europe and around this country, and they broke rules to do that. That's what he did. And he sold players when Ibrahimovic was there. Yeah. So listen, Tom, I know exactly what you're saying. I agree with everything wholeheartedly what you said. But let's get into the crux of it. So I'll ask Saeed. Yeah. Saeed, has the season been a success?
Difficult, man, when you think of what City are going to do. I'd say it's been a partial success in the sense of top 4 is achieved, something that we haven't done last season, and we got a trophy. That was my targets for the season, getting to top 4, win a trophy. So in that kind of aspect, yes. But overall, it's something that I'm not going to parade. It's something I'm not going to kind of almost be joying over the kind of, jumping around the Mancunian way, or, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to be doing that. It is what it is. We've got top 4. We've got a trophy. I'm happy about that, but I think it's a time also to kind of be rein it in and understand that how far we're behind the guys down the road, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, big up to Chibai. When they're doing a treble, what does it? What does the season really mean? Like, it doesn't really mean anything in totality. In when you look at it in perspective, obviously.
And when we literally had the chance to affect that treble, to affect it at Wembley, Saeed, we fucking bottled it.
Yeah, we did. That's just the reality. We bottled it, innit? But I think these players ultimately, I think we talked about in the Straight Jacket podcast, but we want them to care, but in reality, it's a quality though. You know, you can get 11 players that try hard, but ultimately, when they don't have the quality to do what they need to do, that's why I'm just like, when I came at the match reaction, yes, I had a bit of a moan, but ultimately, it was a lot of like reflection in terms of these players aren't just good enough. And if you're not willing to have uncomfortable conversations about certain players, then we're not going to go far, man. There's a lot of, but we'll keep him or we'll keep that player. I think if you changed that 11 and you brought a brand new 11, I don't think anybody would complain in a large sense. Obviously, there's one or two players who say, "Oh, right, we'll keep Lissandra, we'll keep Casemiro." But if you started from now, you wouldn't say anything. You wouldn't, because that's just the way the club is right now. Even a new ownership. If you said Qatar is in and you get a brand new team, a brand new start, I think a lot of people would take that. Or would you take Jim Ratcliffe, but then he brings his players in, and you kind of go from there. You know what I mean? So it's one of them. I think a lot of United fans just need to have that conversation where, is it good enough? Are we going to get the players in that are good enough? And ultimately, are we on the way to catch Man City? Because that's where everybody should be talking about. We shouldn't be saying, "Oh, we'll get third and then it's progression and then it's this and that." Can we catch Man City? Can we bridge the gap? Can we bridge the gap? Can we? And ultimately, right now, we're not. And Arsenal are there to stay. Tottenham, obviously, they're going through what they're going through. Chelsea are going to come back. Liverpool are coming back. Liverpool, listen, they're there. They've already bought a player today before the window's even started, like 10 days before the window started. That they're here to stay, guys. And if we're not playing around, we're going to get left behind. Newcastle are still there. Aston Villa in Europe with better players, with a better manager, they'll be there. So I think for me, nothing's guaranteed for me. Top four's not guaranteed next season. I don't think success is guaranteed next season. Nothing's guaranteed. Like Man City can guarantee success because of the structure that allows it to happen. United can't guarantee anything. And it's a testament to Ten Hag this season, how far he's got this team. A lot of people don't realize what he's had to do with this team, and get us to third and win a trophy, get us to a final. I know things have not been well in terms of 7-0s and all that. I get that. But if you actually look at it on the balance of play and you look at it objectively, he's done well considering what he's got. And people say, "Oh, well, he spent 200 million." Yeah, but when you look at what the squad needs and what we spent, we need 500 million. But obviously, that's not a reality, and you're not going to get that money in one window. But ultimately, this squad needs a lot. It needs surgery. But can we do that? Can we get it sorted? Can the manager be allowed to spend that money? Is we're going to get beat again to transfers? Are we marking? Are we even like buying players in the right market? Are we prioritizing the right players? All them questions, man. A lot of questions and not enough answers for me. We're not even going to answer on the ownership situation, so forget anything else.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
it's really interesting. He said partially.
Leicester City, by the way, have released 7 players following their departure. United should release at least 8 or 9, but they won't do it, will they?
We did last summer, though. That's the problem.
Listen, are they? So many. Yeah, are they in the New York Stock Exchange? Do they do their transfers and signings and outgoings according to a spreadsheet? No, big up Khalees Ramadi Lassie for all the quotes, man. Big up to our chief editor, United Real Therapy. Big up Khalees. Big up Alien Tenos. We won't get top. We won't got top 4 next season. Not with this squad. No, of course, 100%. Yeah, I said it. I predicted this already. We're gonna come to that. Tom, has the season been successful for you on your behalf? What's the season been like? Has it been a success?
I personally think it has. That's my personal opinion. And the reason why I think it has is coming into this season, all we had to go off of really was the piss poor summer where we didn't get really the players that we were expected to get or that we wanted in De Jong and players like that. You can fault that as the structure or whatever. You can take the spiral of the season that we had from the end of last season, which was an absolute nightmare. Going away, Brighton 4-0, like it was literally Man United get battered everywhere they go, literally like anywhere. And you go obviously into the first 2 games with the new manager, and Brighton, like shocking, first day of the season. But you go to Brentford 4-0, you're thinking strap your in, like really. from that point, I think there was a lot of negativity, and I do think a lot of these players, they were fragile. Right, we knew this from previous seasons. They are fragile, and you could say something, criticize them, and like I think that it pushed them over the edge. Really, Erik ten Hag, that Liverpool game, he did something. And yes, there's the reports that he went on the run with the players and punished himself as much as the players, but it's more about the character. And I think, me personally, characters have formed in this team, but characters only get you so far. I'll be really honest with you. This season we've been individuals. It's been individuals that have got Manchester United over the line. Really, I don't personally think it's been a team. I don't really see a team performance at all, me personally, because I just think there's been patterns of good things and good plays. Like you always name out it. Like almost the perfect game was Spurs at home, 2-0.
Yeah.
Played them off the park. That sort of football on that night was amazing. It was perfect. But for me, coming into the season, I was really worried. I was really, really worried after the summer we had. And you can go back and check it. I didn't think we were making top 6, never mind top 4. And that's just my personal opinion. Even after the glorious recruitment, I just thought Erik ten Hag's not going to have enough of what he needs to then make this team a success. And, he's done wonders with hardly anything, really. And I know that's hard to say, but Anthony was never a £100 million player. So I don't really prescribe that on Erik ten Hag. In the same way with Casemiro, it was a panic buy last minute. You needed somebody, so you got the best one that's out there and paid him stupid money to come.
He actually sought out Manchester United because he was looking for a big pay deal. He was looking for that massive deal, and obviously 5-year contract. Like I said at the time, I stand by it. Nobody in Europe is ever going to give a 30-year-old that amount of money we're giving him and a 5-year contract.
That was to compensate. That was to compensate the fans' kind of feeling of we didn't get De Jong. So they went and said, you know what, how can we get a marquee signing? And he said, right, go and get me Casemiro if he's available.
Yeah, you get the best one out there in the business. But for me, I just think personally, the top 4 is, it's brilliant. Nuruddin, you'll be praising yourself. Like, you can do watch-alongs. I expect to see some watch-alongs now you're in the Champions League, Nuruddin. Because you complained about these Thursday nights, mate. Look, I look.
But then how long? But then how long are we going to last in the Champions football? How long will we last?
You and get out of the group.
Yeah, exactly. But how long? What's the point of getting Champions football when you get battered and then go in the group and then go in the Europa League, end up in the Europa League?
Oh, mate, it'd be embarrassing if you got out of the group.
It'd be embarrassing, and it is what it is. But
embarrassing.
The whole season, a trophy. You love it or hate it. It happened. Like.
It's just tainted by this FA Cup, though, isn't it?
It is, yeah. We can say, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is tainted by the FA Cup. And look, if we'd have gone there, and I see now from looking at it visually, in the future, I can envisage Erik ten Hag wanting to go toe-to-toe with teams. But I think he realised and he knows himself, I can't do that. I cannot go full gun-ho at Manchester City because they'll beat us 5-6-7-0. Easily. And I think maybe in the start of the season he was naive into thinking that he wasn't familiar with the grips of the league. Same thing, you go away to St James's Park, you go away to Liverpool. Like he's never been to those stadiums before, barring playing in COVID times with Anfield. So he never really knew what to expect. But now he's experienced it. Now he knows. I expect him to learn. Just as much as I expect.
I expect him to learn really fast.
Players.
Really fast.
Well, he's had a full season now, so I think he knows now the.
Do you reckon he's going to be ruthless, though, Tom?
Listen,
to me, if he had a serious like triangle, I always quote this around football clubs. You need to have a pyramid. You need to have a triangle. That's a CEO. That's the sporting director. And that's the manager. You need to have the perfect triangle. And if you don't have it, it's, good night Vienna, curtains. For example, Manchester City, you have Tixi with the sporting director, you have Mubarak, chairman, Pep Guardiola, manager. That triangle works in terms of they operate with the same mindset. Tom,
you're missing out one more key figure in that. the owners want to win at all cost.
Of course, yeah. But the thing is, it's okay having an owner that wants to do it. If they don't employ the right people to do that for them and, take on their ambitions and make it a success, then there's not really much point in having all that money or even investing, is there? If you can't get the right people for the job. But for me, Erik ten Hag's come into these circumstances where I personally don't think he has full control over, I can get rid of this player and you're not going to stop me at all. You can say for what you want about Ronaldo, things like that. Ronaldo forced Manchester United's hand anyway when he made the interview. So I don't really see a way that Erik ten Hag can look at, say, David De Gea and say, yeah, you're straight out the door. Because I look at it from the perspective of, well, John Murtough and all the other guys, I think they'll look at that and think, well, you want in a striker who's going to cost you upwards of 80 up to 100 million pounds. You want in a midfield. You want in two midfielders, apparently. A left wide player. You want in a goalkeeper, like a centre half. Like you want in basically a new starting 11. And I don't honestly think John Murtough sits there in a meeting with Erik ten Hag and says, David De Gea needs to go. Like, I honestly don't think he sits there and thinks, yeah, because I think they look at it and think, well, David De Gea, he's not exactly top of the market, is he? Nobody's exactly coming in for him anymore at the age that he's at and with what's been happening recently. I don't know where David De Gea's roadmap would be if he left Manchester United right now. I don't know where he would go, personally, but I just look at things that are like little points like that and snippets, and I think, well, I just think they're going to tell Erik ten Hag, you've got to stick with it for another year, and you've got to roll with it, because we don't know, A, who's paying the bill, who's flipping the bill to get you a new goalkeeper, but the only, I guess, godsending thing about Manchester United and what they have done maybe recently in terms of a mistake is Erik ten Hag knows the maximum budget he has right now. And the reason why he knows that is because Manchester United are on the FFP fire line. And if Manchester United breach £100 million without selling anybody, Manchester United will be pretty much in a similar position to City. They're broke charges, but on a very smaller scale. But still, you can end up having whatever fines, figures, whatever. The only problem I'm saying, though, with Manchester United is when the FFP lines are in place now, Erik ten Hag knows he has £100 million. So he can budget. But I think for me, anyway, just as a final point, from what I saw, especially at Wembley, Christian Eriksen, he was a good player to bring in at the time because Erik ten Hag knew he was not going to get two permanent midfielders for £50 million apiece.
Yeah.
And Eriksen was the best free transfer as a midfielder that I thought of on the market at the time. And in that case, I think Erik ten Hag looks at this and I think, where do I really go? The direction that I think he wants is, he knows that the £100 million budget doesn't stretch him to get a lot of players. And that's why I think if anybody's driving a lot of these players out of the door, Erik ten Hag and his management team are the ones who are doing the talking.
Yeah,
really.
Hold it there, Tom. Listen, I'll say this is simple. Saeed, can you send me that link where we went through the players? I just want to go through
it's on my United website.
Oh, it's on the Manchester. Yeah, let me get a Manchester.
Let me show you. I'll send it.
Yeah, Manchester United website. Listen, because you know what I'm trying to find. I'm trying to find actually the people who started. Because for me, I'm gonna take this game in isolation. Everybody's like, oh, by the way, Celtics. Pokulescu, I can't say his name. Agrees to become Spurs boss.
And Postecoglou.
It's decent. I think he'd do well there. I think a lot of people are putting him down, man. He's got a good like profile of football.
You know what, right? I respect him. I respect him for going to Spurs because a lot of people don't want to work with Daniel Davies.
Say that again. Real Madrid,
getting Alphonso Davies held talks with Entourage. Wow. I think they're looking for a left back, so that's what they're going for. Killis has put it in there. So, but yeah, go on. Sorry.
The lineup. So I want to go through the lineup. So I go to the lineup. Manchester United. So we're gonna go. So I'm gonna share this link, and we need to. I want to just go through it, but we'll go through the other players as well. But I just want to go through who's played this game, because to me, the intensity, the aggression, the shithousery, none of it was there. they bottled it in a time where we could affect it, where we could cause and stop a treble from Manchester City. Either way, I think they're winning that game 3-0 easy, 4-1 easy. They're gonna smash Inter Milan. That's what I believe. I hope and pray I'm
Do you
wrong,
think we were a harder
I
game
think
than
the treble
Inter?
is guaranteed.
Do you think we were a harder game than Inter, Nuruddin?
Say that again? Yeah, we
Do you
would
think
have.
Manchester
Yeah.
United?
Well, it should have been. Well, it should have been. It should have been. But we know it's not been. But we're gonna go through this because I really want to go through this because I'm like, for me, I'm just like, these guys didn't turn up, and then to hear what was so disappointing because when he's usually so honest, what was so disappointing was to hear Erik ten Hag say that only us we can give them a game. Nah, sorry.
Yeah, that's the team. Yeah.
Nah, sorry. So let's go through it. Let's go through this. Let me just get rid of these chats. So big up people, please in the chat, get involved, people, get involved. So I think so. I've asked you both the question, and somebody nicely put what was the objectives? Somebody said here, and so one.
What do you mean?
So the lesson says. What's up? I think the season was a success with a lot of errors from other teams. So we have to put it into context. And then somebody else put, oh God, where is it? Oh, did I not? Oh, I missed that. Basically, somebody else put, if the objective was to get a trophy in the top 4, then that was met. If that was the objective before the season, then that was met. But then you look at, but actually the way it happened, the way the season unfolded, and to me, the FA Cup was far more important trophy than the League Cup for me. That's me personally. I don't think to me, I call that a Mickey Mouse trophy. I'm sorry I was spoiled. I'm sorry for being into Manchester United where we used to play the kids in that trophy. But let's get into it, people. Hopefully, if I do this, does it blow up a little bit more? Can you see it a bit more clearer?
That's perfect, to be fair.
Okay, so David De Gea, we're gonna go through it. Bottle job or not a bottle job? Because to me, I'm gonna name and shame the players because for me, it's about the performance. Did you turn up in this game? This is the biggest game of Manchester United season. I said it. I called it before, Saeed. The biggest game in Manchester United in the past decade. That game was the big. And Saeed, like I said to you, before anybody says, "Oh, I'm like a sore loser," congratulations to Man City. They're on their way to a treble. Like I said, the thing that I'm envious about is their club is that the owners will cheat, do whatever they can, literally break rules to win. And I'm envious of that. That don't have owners that are willing to do everything by any means necessary to win. So David De Gea, for me, absolute disgrace. That kicking to nobody, to no man's land, absolute disgrace.
Bottle job, man. He's a bottle job.
Bottle job. Varane and Lindelof, I thought they played all right. Shaw, staying here like a coward, not going past the halfway line. In that first half, for me,
he defended well. The thing is, Don Nuruddin, I think for me, it comes down to what the approach was. We didn't go forward enough.
Yeah. Listen,
I can't really blame
him. No, listen.
Listen.
We have to contain them. I understand that. We have to contain them. Wan-Bissaka was the same. Even though Bruno made a run here and it could have passed up for me, again, it comes up in the big moments. He hasn't got the passing ability, can't get the ball out of his feet. So that's a weakness on his part. Defensively, he's brilliant. He's good. Casemiro was missing for a large part of the game. Me personally, I thought he was missing. I think
again, not enough help, Nuruddin. Let's be honest.
Of course. Eriksen was nowhere to be seen. Fred, I thought, even of all the things, he was losing the ball. I thought he was the one that was better than shithousery, better than getting in people's faces, making tackles. I thought he did that. So he ran around a lot. De Bruyne didn't influence the game a lot. He stuck to him like glue. He did his job. Eriksen, an absolute fucking ghost. Absolute disgrace. An absolute ghost.
I thought he'd do well in that 10 role, man. The fact that he had no...
Listen, the second half, we find out. The second half, it should have been off. He should have been off straight away. He should not have come out for the second half. Get Jadon Sancho jumping out of fucking challenges again. Doing it all fucking season. A fucking
He's
disgrace.
the biggest bottle job, mate.
He's a fucking disgrace. A bottle job if I ever fucking saw one. Bruno Fernandes, fatigued. Also horrendous. Fucking horrendous as well. And Rashford jumping out of fucking tackles. Again, if you're not fit, get the fuck off the football pitch. Get the fuck off the football pitch. So if any of you disagree with my criticism, go. Casemiro, Tom?
Honestly, Casemiro's the only one that I would, out of all of them, I think can come out of it with some credit.
Okay.
Really.
That's that.
For me, I think Wan-Bissaka maybe as well, put in a load of challenges. He didn't really get phased or overloaded down the flank. Like, apart from that, I don't really see anything in this team. David De Gea, like, butterfingers once again. Like, I don't, and like you've already alluded to, the kicking. I think, when Manchester City's second goalkeeper outdoes you for kicking, outdoes you for positioning, coming for the ball, it speaks volumes. It really does speak volumes.
By the way, let me just say this, Tom. Modern football, the reason why people never ask the question. The reason why modern football, you want to play out from the back, is basically on the transitions from defense to midfield to attack, is to build overloads. So you've always got 3 against 1 or 3 against 2 or 2 against 1.
Facts.
So that's what it is. So when you give it out here, you put it into midfield, then you'll be able to put it here, or then put it here, or to go out here, and then to go and find a striker. That is so vital in football. So De Gea was just giving the ball to them to come and attack us. Like you said, Saeed, it's embarrassing to have a derby game where it's defense against attack. So for me, they all bottled it. These guys bottled it.
No. As you said before about such as Sancho and Rashford, like ducking out of challenges and stuff, David De Gea legally, in the laws of the game, he can smash into somebody to come and claim the ball if he needs to. But he chooses not to. That's the problem. He chooses not to.
Listen, I've never known a goalkeeper to hog the actual goal line as much as him. He is absolutely static.
You'd think though, right? As you just said there, you'd think if he hogs the goal line, he'd actually be good at penalties. But
the craziest thing, he thinks that's what. No, you know what? As a goalkeeper, you can move out of the area. You can move. I understand that that's the rule when it comes to penalties.
It's when they take the ball. It's when they take the ball.
When it comes to penalties.
Yeah. But like you said about as the team as a whole, Varane, to be honest with you, 1-on-1 against Haaland, barring that one chance where he lost him and he got in, I don't think really Erling Haaland was majorly effective. I think Varane was decent. Lindelof, is okay. I won't say he's amazing.
He's okay.
He's okay. He's okay because he's third, fourth choice. Yeah. Sure, I don't know.
It's when you put the standards on.
Yeah, it's the standards on players, though. Yeah, Fred ran around, did what he had to do, stuck to Kevin De Bruyne like a mosquito. But you can only do it for so long before they get that one chance. Casemiro, I've already said about Fernandes. For me, go a goal behind. Didn't really panic. I did see some emotion for him where he picked the team up. Casemiro as well. They tried to pick the team up and lift the spirits and say, look, we've still got another 80 odd minutes to go here. Like, we've still got a game to play. And for me, he scored the penalty. Like, we were back in it. There was a game on again. Jadon Sancho, listen, I don't know what problems he's had, in terms of off the field and when he had to be pulled away from the squad. But when a youngster, and I know you've put him on the screen now, and it's funnily enough, you've done that. Just we're about to say his name. Yeah. Alejandro Garnacho, 18 years old, came on and ripped Kyle Walker to absolutely pieces for a good 20 minutes, 10, 15, 20 minutes, and Jadon Sancho didn't even try and take him on once. Not once.
He's the only one, Saeed, that can, of all the people who are on the football pitch, that can hold his head high. He's the only one, Saeed. What did you think of watching his performance when you were there?
You know what? It's crazy, man. I was in the service stations after the game, and all the City fans were in there, and they were all saying, "Man, bloody hell, man!" When that Garnacho came on, you know what I mean? We were nervous. Basically, he thought that he would swing the momentum. And it just shows you, man. 18-year-old kid has shown them up twice. One in the Old Trafford and one here in the FA Cup. He just gives you a bit of life. It should have. If it wasn't for that, John Stones, was it a block shot against him?
Yeah.
And goal anyway.
He had the curving.
Oh man, I thought that was in.
I thought that was in from where I was watching.
Oh my god, I thought that was in.
The thing with Garnacho that impresses me, and I've never watched him live until I saw it, was. With him, I knew he was direct, but the acceleration that he gets up to, it would be an absolute nightmare if you're going all the way into your own box, and like what John Stones did, as you said, Saeed, if you have to put that challenge in and you get it wrong or you slip on your ass, you take the kid out. and you've cost your team the game, and Manchester United suddenly go to extra time, or maybe even win the game, off of something so thing. But at the end of the day, I it's just like I say, the whole squad from the whole, like it's individuals, it's not a team. So when you are just individuals, a couple of them like Casemiro, Bruno, like you can see they want to win. There's an ambition to win. Jadon Sancho, I don't know what he's ever done since he's come from Borussia Dortmund or something, mate. Like, I honestly, I don't really know. Like, if you're on the beach, what's going on? I really don't know. But people put in the comments that we need to get behind players. Listen, we've got behind him for half of the season. We respected the decision of the manager to pull him out of the squad. But when you need to be relied upon, at minimum, I want you to go into 50-50 tackles. Like, he's not exactly had an injury. Like, for someone like Eriksen, if you like, maybe you can come up with an excuse for him as to say, well, he might not want to go into a 50-50 challenge. He's just been out for 2 months. The player died on a football field. Like, there is psychological effect to something like that. Whereas with Jadon Sancho, I don't really know that, for me personally. And at the end of the day, as a whole, a lot of these players, they absolutely bricked it. They bricked it. And the reason why they bricked it was they were shell-shocked when that first goal went in. And people can say, well, we recovered after the penalty. No. When you concede a goal that early in a game, and I know you said it about Gundogan, but when you concede a goal that early in a game, you are shell-shocked. Your jaws drop to the floor just as much as the people in the stands are. Like, half the people didn't even get to sit down from the people that I was sitting in the box. We didn't even get to sit down before we saw the first goal go in. So it's a madness.
Listen, you know what, though? It's a reality of where we're at now, right?
Listen, we are 200 of you in here. Please smash a like on the video. Subscribe.
Come on, let's get the like.
If you're not already subscribed, make sure you check out Saeed TV. I think it's 30. Is it 31, Saeed, or 32?
232, I think it is.
Yeah, 232 podcasts. Go and check it out, because we went through the squad of who to keep, who to sell. But obviously, we can't do that. We did it. We did it on there, but I'm not going to repeat that again on here, because we're not a football club. We're run on the New York Stock Exchange. We're run on a specific way. That's how Manchester United are run, in a specific way on a New York Stock Exchange, and we're run to a certain specific way of that, where players. We can't sell players. Our recruitment's horrendous. It's dog shite, and everybody knows it. And we panic buy like usually we do. Liverpool getting 30-something from McAllister. Absolute steal. Absolute steal. So it is what it is, people. Manchester United are not a normal football club. Until it changes, it changes. And I'm sick of comments like this. Listen, you're entitled to your point of view. Big up Ziad. Ziad said, Nuruddin, the Glazers taking Ratcliffe deal, showing they're only going to sell for a reckless price. No one's going to pay Ratcliffe taking 50 better than nothing. No, I do not want, to me, no retreat, no surrender. No retreat, no surrender. Yep. I am not taking an ounce of Glazers in this football club. I want them out. And Ratcliffe will become my biggest enemy in the world. The biggest enemy, right? To me, I already hate him anyway for even the idea, the audacity to be able to be your best mate, you know. Yeah, you know what? At a time where I was trying to raise awareness and people did not know, people like nobody else going to buy at the club, I was putting this guy forward because I thought this guy was a fan of Manchester United. I believed him. I believed him. And I'm going to believe it.
Opinions change, though, don't they?
No, the evidence is there. Listen, football is like anything else. It's fast moving. Things are fast moving.
But Nuruddin, just with Sir Jim Ratcliffe, though, I mean, when you make a statement, and he made it as soon as he bought Nice Football Club, because he's British and he bought a football club, it would go hand in hand. Why did you not buy, a journalist asked him a question, why did you not buy a British club? Why did you not buy a Scottish club, a Premier League club? Why did you buy a club in France? And his answer? The valuation of Premier League clubs are sky high and through the roof, and I won't pay ridiculous prices. And the funny thing is, why are people, and I know it's in hindsight you can say it now, but believing it back then, like, he was never going to pay £5 billion outright for a football club when he was, asked about paying £2.5 billion just to buy Chelsea. Like, just to buy Chelsea for 2.5, just as the football club, regardless of all the add-ons and, the extra investment, he was prepared to pay £2.5 billion for Chelsea because it was a steal value. the one thing I know of Sir Jim Ratcliffe in terms of the Premier League and acquiring a Premier League club is he's never valued the price that you have to pay to get one. He's never valued it at all.
Never.
The funny thing is, it's funny how now, in hindsight, he's cut a deal where he doesn't have to pay over the odds to get a football club straight away. He can pay half now and then put on in a projection plan, as far as I'm aware anyway, in 5 years' time, where he buys the rest of the Glazer family shares out, either all of them, buys a quarter of each of the family's shares, so then all 6 stay and they get a bit extra later on. Like, there's a lot of logistics and there's a lot of different things around percentages and who gets bought out here and now, and there's clauses, there's buyout clause, but both sides have to agree. But like I say, the one thing I know for certain was Jim Ratcliffe, because it's out there for people to go and watch. I'm sure there'll be a clip on YouTube, or somebody will have a thread of it, like with the quotes on it, where he says, "I don't value Premier League clubs in the market that they are at. I don't value them." And it's like I say, it's funnily enough that he says he doesn't value it. So now he's having to cut a deal to buy it. But if you don't value a Premier League club and you're not prepared to pay over the odds to buy it, you ain't going to be prepared to pay over the odds to then invest in it when you get it. That's just how I see it. And that's why, for me, that's why he's not made any pledges. He's not stated, I'm going to do anything. Oh, I'm going to put the Manchester back into Manchester United. Oh, well, brilliant. Where's Manchester United actually located? It's in Manchester. I don't think it can go anywhere else, can it? Like, does he think we're stupid? I mean, really, does he honestly think that we're stupid?
No, listen.
And he's taking everybody for a fool.
No, listen, because he knows we don't have any power in it. The apathy within our fan base is strong in it. There's only 20% or 30% of the fan base that really, if that's Saeed, that are really bothered. The rest of them in the stadium, when we sing "Stand Up with Your Glazer," feel like they get pressure. They get pressure into it. Yeah, so some of them you don't even get up. So it shows you the apathy, the level of apathy. But I'm going to ask you and say, Saeed, if Ratcliffe the Rat takes over the Glazers, for me, for the militant Manchester United fans, because every Manchester United should be militant, I believe, because you should want the best for yourself. And the reason why we're left behind was more clear in evidence if the way the two clubs were on Saturday. And the funniest thing, a month, 12 years ago, a month before that final, so in May, 12 years ago, Saeed, the shift happened. It happened within your household. You were probably sharing bunk beds with your brother in the room, and there they are. They're all there, City fans, and they're laughing in your face because they realise when Yaya Toure put that ball in that semi-final, while Fergie was there, the shift happened.
Well, my brother messaged me yesterday. He said to me, Newcastle are going to win the Premier League before you lot. And you know what? He's right. You know what I mean? They're here to stay, man. Even Newcastle will show bigger ambition than Man United. And that's why I said it's not a given now. Nothing's a guarantee anymore. United, by United name, is there. But by Man United's choices, it's made us not be competitive. I can't ever see Man United, for me, until we get proper new owners and we actually have a structure, competing for a league consistently for the whole 38 game of season. Like, I just can't see it, man. There's so many things that you need to go your way for a whole. Look at Arsenal. Arsenal are trying, and it's still they've been short because they haven't spent in January, or they haven't spent wisely in January. When they need to go and probably Caicedo, they got Jorginho. They need to go and get a defender. They bought Kivio. They need to go and get a striker. They didn't really, they got Trossard again.
Trossard,
again, obviously, it's not what they kind of needed. They needed someone who's going to score goals. So even them, for all they've done and for all they're trying to change their structure with Edu and different people involved, even still, they've been fall short because the structure at Man City always wins. That's through finding a manager. That's through by just buying players, being ahead, having squad depth, having the best facilities, having the best training ground, having the best everything, mentality, everything, mindset. It's all there to win. United don't even have a good training ground. We have everything that's opposite it, and it all starts from there. And if you don't do that, then it's long, man. It really is a long day.
Listen, there's way over 200 of you. Please smash a like. Can people let me know how many likes we got on the video? Subscribe to the channel on the road to 10K, people. Here is Raw. Welcome to the podcast. It's called Raw, Red, Real. Real, Raw, and it's red. You know what I mean? It's Raw,
I like that one.
And it's red. That's the podcast name, people. It's Raw, and it's real, and it's red. So please smash a like for the podcast. Windy says, structure. How can you say if the players are not fit to get off the pitch when Ten Hag praised Bruno playing hurt? No, because I don't believe that. I played football. I played amateur level. When I played for my team, I know I was doing a disservice to myself first of all, to myself, to my teammates, and to those people who came to support me. I am not playing when I'm hurt because I'm not going to be able to give my all in a game. I am not. This is not individual sport like boxing where you can carry on when you're hurt. You can weather the storm. No, this is football. At the top level, teams, there's this bit's a gap, and you're going to get exploited. If you can't challenge for the ball, get off the fucking football pitch. I'm not having it. That's my value, Windy. That's my value. It don't have to be anybody else's. That's what I believe. Because when I played, I never stayed on when I was injured. Well, I never stayed because I knew I could. It was a disservice to me. I wasn't going to have a good game. And it was a disservice to the rest of the team. So one of the substitutes who at least can give challenges, can go and fight in the 50-50. We needed players who were fit on that because we lacked the quality. So the shithousery needed to be up. The intensity and the aggression needed to be up. But it wasn't there because we are carrying players who are either fatigued, who have got carrying injuries, or players who's injured who can't even jump for the ball. So I'm not having it. Smash a like on the video, please, people. Let me know how many likes we got on this video. Tom, do you disagree or agree with my philosophy? Obviously, every footballer has slight knocks. I'm not talking about small little knocks. Every athlete, whether it's individual sport, whether it is different things, all athletes have something little. I'm talking about where you can't physically challenge for the going to challenges because you're gonna damage yourself and get hurt. That's what I'm talking about. Little knock here and there, little ache. No. I used to sometimes, while I have a little ache, I would take ibuprofen and go and play. Do you understand? Cocodamol and play. I'm talking about injuries that are restricting your movement to be able to challenge, to go into challenges. That's what I'm talking about.
But ultimately, it's a balance of both. The player has to say, "I'm injured. I'm not fit, and I can't play anymore." And then obviously the manager has to not just rely on them. You know what I mean?
I had it. Listen, but Tom, listen. I had it with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. These players are not robust. We're gonna get robust into them. Look what happened to fucking Martial and Rashford. Rashford is playing with. What's the difference? What has changed? Aaron asked the question: has Rashford improved? He scored 30 goals this season, but it was all in spurts. But has he been quality other than the goals? No, he hasn't. Has he affected every game that he's played in? No. Because when you keep playing with injuries, your career's coming to an end soon rather than later. Yeah. So I'm sick of it. I dealt with it under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm not fucking dealing with it under Ten Hag. I'm not fucking having it. Place Garnacho as a false nine. Put McTominay as up there. I don't care what you do. Give me some of the players who can go into fucking 50s.
No. It's not going to happen.
Players who can go to 50-50s.
Glazers,
that's what you need. That was the most important game in a fucking decade.
Yeah, of course. The problem
Manchester
is
Derby, FA Cup final.
That's the thing, though. You've just said it there in those last two lines there. FA Cup final, Manchester Derby. When a player hears those words, if you're injured, if you've lost an arm or a leg, mate, they still want to bloody play. You best believe it. They still want to play. Anthony, mate, he would not have been sitting at home thinking, do you know what? If there was even the slightest bit of a chance, if I'm limp, if I've got a little bit of a limp, if I've got a bruise, a scar, whatever, he would not care. He would want to play. It's an FA Cup final. You don't. These things don't come around forever and ever. They don't. Unless you're Manchester City, you might play in 3 or 4 in your career while you're there. Like, it don't happen very often. The problem is with Manchester United, a lot of these players of whom we were speaking about in the starting line, like you said about Rashford, Jadon Sancho, like these players aren't exactly spring chickens. Marcus Rashford he's getting on a bit now. You can't
now. They're not young players anymore.
You can't consider him as a young player anymore. People say the same about Martial, like he's not a young player. He's been here 5, 6, 7 years. I've lost track now, man. Like,
but it's been just Lingard, it's Paul Pogba,
mate, like the list goes on and on and on and on and on. And the only time these players ever leave our football club is when the contract needs renewing, and we're not prepared to do it. Or they're finished as a player, as you said there. Like it's just the boundaries and the guidelines of Manchester United. Like there is, and I just want to make this one point: there is no such thing as loyalty in football anymore. There is not. You cannot seriously tell me Karim Benzema has been at Real Madrid for what, 12, 14 years, and then suddenly he gets a bump of money from Saudi Arabia and he thinks, do you know what, I'm going off on one now, see you later. So many football clubs let go of players who have been nostalgic for them or have been, great professionals, greats. James Milner, for example, at Liverpool, he is pretty much Jurgen Klopp's like second-hand man. He's probably the guy who brings in the pints on a night out, like. And he's had to let go of him. It's probably a difficult conversation you have to do. Pep Guardiola's done it many times with players. Ferran Torres, you don't want to be here, mate. Get the fuck out of the football club then. See you later. This is the problem. There is no thing and no love lost for loyalty. And that's why I believe, anyway, from what I know, if Erik ten Hag gets his way, David De Gea certainly will not be his number one for next season. He would want a permanent 50, 60 plus £1 million goalkeeper. But because he doesn't have the strength in the budget, because of what happened last summer, it hampers what you can impact right here and now. And it's either you recruit some young goalkeeper from absolutely nowhere, like maybe like the lad that's at Anderlecht, for example, in the Belgian league was quite decent, or you just go for David De Gea again for one last spin of the dice in a season. But this is the problem. There is no such thing as affection and love for a player anymore, regardless of how long they stay at your club. There isn't. There's a time to stay and there's a time to go. David Silva, I think, is the brilliant answer in terms of what I'm trying to get the point across here. Brilliant technical football player. Pep Guardiola spoke to him and said, look, you're at the peak of your powers. I'm not going to be renewing your contract and you're not going to be staying on here long term. Like, this is it. But you know what? He's still gone on somewhere else and had a career at Real Sociedad, and he's still balling. He's still playing to the peaks of his powers. But the problem with us is we don't know when to let go. And the reason why we're afraid of letting go is we never have somebody lined up to bring in after them. That's the problem. And that's why when you say, and I know where the frustration comes in, where you say about Caicedo on the market, Man United don't look at players like that. They don't look at... You put 60, 70 million pounds on that kind of player, Manchester United are not interested. Simple as that.
Simple. I'll go to you. Do you think Pep Guardiola playing injured players, keeping fatigue and injured players on a football pitch?
No, because he'd rotate in it. He rotates well. He brings people in. Like, you'll have a situation where Mahrez will be playing 5 games in a row or 6 games in a row. And you think to yourself, what's going on here? And then all of a sudden, the one who's meant to be playing there, in Bernardo, comes out of nowhere and plays the next 20. John Stones didn't start, the start of the season. It was Diaz. No, it was Akanji and Aki playing for most
Akanji, Ake, yeah, true.
Yeah. And all of a sudden, Stones comes in about mid-February and it just lits it up. Diaz didn't really start properly and wasn't playing as a starter for the start of the season. And all of a sudden, he comes in January, post-January, and he's now the main guy. Guardiola lets you build your form up. He brings you in the right times. I feel like it's depth in it. But the thing is, though, we have a situation where we have a depth here, or just in general, we have a lot of options. And then all of a sudden, it's like, oh, well, that's got to play. He's got to play. He's got to play. Oh, no, that's my favourite player. Oh, that's what I'm saying. At Man City, do they have favourite players? Or do they have a system where it's like, right, if you fit the system, you do well. They've obviously got John Stones playing that middle three. We don't have versatility in our team. So there's a lot to work with Guardiola, and that comes down to being ruthless in telling players you can move on. Even after one season, he'll tell him, right, listen, you're not really wanted now, so you want to move on. Zinchenko and Jesus will be still starting for Man United if they were at United. That's the reality. But he's moved the money, said, you want to leave? Cancelo, you want to leave? See you later then. You can go now. But, here it's a contract. The contract is too much. It's too much. Maguire's contract, we've given him too much. Should be 3-year deal, 3-year deal, 4-year deal, and then you move on. But we're not doing that, and that's the problem.
7-year. The guy signed a 7-year. I think, if I'm questioning right. What about the ownership side? Do you see the toxicity just getting even more and more? To me, I think City are going to do the quadruple very soon, unless somebody else comes out. Somebody else.
Liverpool,
comes out,
but again, it's the worst of two evils.
Or Newcastle, or somebody else comes out and fights them. But in terms of the ownership, Ratcliffe takes over with the Glazers. That's what it's looking. That's why the dickheads are the Athletic, who are like showing themselves for how racist they are. They're Islamophobes here. There are certain people who work with, say, Jeff Raff, that feel like they're putting the moves in place ultimately take control of the club. And that's Talk of the Devils podcast. That's a Laurie Whitwells who are stuck their asses right up Ratcliffe's fucking ass because they don't want Qatar owning Manchester United. Absolute dickheads. They show themselves for what they are. They're Islamophobes, xenophobes. That's what they've shown themselves are to be personally. Because if you call yourself a Manchester United fan, you want the horse is bolted already. There's no purity. There's no ethical billionaire anymore. There isn't. And that's the name of the game. That's what it is. But this moral thing that they're on, like this, do you think this country is moral? Do you think this country is moral? Do you think that? Listen, I've said it and I've done it more times. But Saeed, do you expect that to continue? The toxicity and Manchester United. If Jim, you know that what they're gonna do is they're gonna come maybe spend 250 million to appease the fans. But as a fan, are you gonna buy it? Are you gonna buy Jim Ratcliffe and the Glazers staying? They might do a little bit of things around the stadium, maybe, a little bit of cosmetics around the stadium, maybe improve a little bit of the training ground. Are you going to be happy, Saeed? Where do you sit? Because you know what's coming. A lot of the fan base are going to be appeased because they're going to buy, they're going to sign players. Here,
though. That's the thing, though. This is why, for me, it's just crazy that, the fans will have to just accept it because it's like the Glazers will still hear minority share. They'll be here somewhere. And under something we'll hear about some sort of influence or some sort of situation happening. The Glazers there and this and that, and then Jim Ratcliffe's there having a little bit of a meeting with them, and he's having little cozy lunches and whatnot. Like, it's not what you want to see. We ultimately wanted the Glazers to go, and that's the bottom line. Whether it was Jim Ratcliffe full sale or the Qatar, we needed a full sale, not a partial sale. And this is what's happening. Yeah, even that we can't even get right. That's how bad this football club is. Like, even an ownership situation. Like, we can't even get right. Like, you'd think that was the smoothest operation you could do, right? Negotiate, have a few months while the World Cup's going on. Even in the World Cup, you had time then to kind of build the relationship, build everything up. You do everything like that. Then you go this. Then it's that. Then the Ronaldo situation comes out. And you know what? The more I look at it, Ronaldo was probably right. I know for me, it was a bit selfish in a sense of my United fan didn't want to hear that right now because you felt like you were just putting your dummy out and spitting your dummy out.
No, he came for the manager. He came for the manager.
Exactly, he came for the manager as well, and we didn't like that. But ultimately, it's great a message. Everyone understood.
Yeah,
that.
Everyone. Saeed, nobody said it more succinctly and more like pointed it out to us than Ranić. But people will tell you Ranić was a fraud. And everything Ranić said is there. Big up Alien Tenor. Listen, Alien Tenor, working class fan, cost 300. I was about to pay £380 to go. £80 for the coach. I was going for 300 for the ticket. And thank God, the money I don't have, I was going to spend money that I don't have, bro. Money that I don't have, I was going to spend that. Thank God I didn't. But that's what it shows you, and that's where they can't even come out. So, Saeed, as a fan,
was painful, man. Listen,
as a fan, you taking Ratcliffe? Are you jumping on the bandwagon? Ratcliffe signing a couple of our players, a bit of cosmetics. You're gonna jump on the bandwagon?
I'm powerless, isn't it? Like, what?
No, but are you gonna? You've got a platform. Are you gonna jump on the bandwagon and go, yeah, sick? We're signing these things. We're doing this. Manchester United and this.
I think for me, I don't have any hope with Jim Ratcliffe because I've spoke to a Nice fan. I've actually spoke to him. I've seen what he's about. I don't really have any kind of hope for him. It'll just be supporting a football club that you'll be thinking, right, you just go for a day out in it, like really and truly.
Like majority of the fans.
You're just backing the manager, really, and you see what he can do. But ultimately, we can say Jim Ratcliffe out, but we're going to be here for another, decade, possibly more with Jim Ratcliffe.
I will always be Jim Ratcliffe out. I will always be, because
I'm thinking to yourself, like,
and you know what, Saeed, I'm not going to lie to you. If tomorrow he said, I'm going to buy the club out personally, because then I know then Glazers are gone, I'll be judging him on what his actions is. Do you understand? My problem is not with Jim Ratcliffe. It's that I want the Glazers gone. I want Manchester United to be taken off the New York Stock Exchange. I don't want us ever to be associated with the New York Stock Exchange.
He's got a plan with that. He's got a plan. He's got a plan with what he wants to do with the exchange. From what I knew anyway, when he first entered the process, he looked at listing Manchester United not on New York's exchanges, but on London's exchanges, and take it for whatever you want. I don't understand with the Sir Jim's sort of narrative is we've all, alluded to it around the British sort of route and everything. But the problem with Sir Jim is, why did you not just admit that, look, I'm a Manchester United fan. Here's my picture in '99, which he still hasn't proved that he was there, by the way. So I think personally anyway, I think it's a load of BS. You can say that you were there or not. Like, listen, I could say I were there. I weren't even born then. Like, people might take my word for it, might not. Who cares? If I can't prove it, I can't prove it. It's as simple as that. But the one thing with him is, and what you just asked Saeed in terms of, buying a few players, does it emphasise anything? Not really.
We've been here before, Tom. We've been here before.
Of course, we've been here before. The only difference is it's just somebody else who's flipping the bill. But the problem is, by cutting a deal, he has lost, I would say, probably 80% of the people that was actually backing him originally. He's lost 80% of them, and that small minority, the 20%, is probably based off of the people who don't want to have a state or be used as potentially a political tool. That's the only thing. And listen, you're entitled to your own opinions on morals and how things are judged in certain countries. You have to respect opinion. It's a free world. It's a free country. But the only problem is, I don't look at the Manchester United the way that Sir Jim Ratcliffe has gone about this business and think he's got a man with a footballing side to Manchester United. I don't look at that. The only footballing thing that he's actually thought about with Manchester United is, I want Paul Mitchell to be the sporting director. That's the only thing that I actually know about him and the sporting side of the football club. The rest of it, I think it's Pete Tong. I really think it's Pete Tong.
You know what,
and
Tom?
I don't honestly. I don't. Yeah. I don't. Do you want, right? Let me ask you guys a question, right? When he has somebody who has a sporting background, in like Sir Dave Brailsford, for example, who's like his right-hand man, do you seriously tell me that he's not going to give Sir Dave Brailsford the first refusal on the CEO job, or over somebody like an Edwin van der Sar or whoever somebody would want?
Yeah.
Do you really think that he's not going to give it to one of his own guys who's been with him for what, 15, 20 years when they've been in the sporting business?
You got a point.
It's a joke. It is really a joke. And it's poor.
Listen, we're going to try to finish on a positive one because it's been an absolute dull. There's been nothing positive about Manchester United's end to the season. I got giddy because I saw better patterns of play after Fulham. But for me, the season has been a success.
Chelsea was good for the second half, the goals.
But Saeed is begging, innit? To be fair, we're begging, aren't we? We're begging. Let's be right, Saeed. We're effing begging, aren't we? My eyes bloody itching. I need to try to put this glass up. Saeed, listen, I'll ask you this question to finish off. You tell me the 4 or 5 players that need to go straight into that line. Give me the key positions. De Gea.
De Gea, so the keeper, Kim Min-jae from Napoli. For me, it's Caicedo.
Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Harry Kane, but obviously I don't know if we're gonna get him. And I get another midfielder as well. I get 2 midfielders. And then a striker, centre back, and a keeper. That's what I'd get this summer. 2 midfielders, keeper.
Yeah, we need. Yeah.
And
I think 2 strikers. I think we need 2 strikers because one of them gets injured.
I'm trying to be realistic. You know what I mean? That 5 players can happen, but even when you look at it, we need 2 strikers. You're right, Nuruddin. Because Martial, I'd get rid of. I'd go get 2 strikers. Those 6 signings, I'd say.
And to me, all of them, all those 6 signings, depending on how fit they are. The injury, I'm going to scrutinize their fucking injury record, like with a fucking tooth, like that, with a fucking toothbrush. I'm going to go through it like that. Gonna go through bit by bit and analyze it. But we don't do that, do we, in Manchester United? We go and get a guy on loan who is the reason why he's on the bench at Bayern Munich because he gets too many injuries throughout the season. So the manager can never rely on him. That's why he stays on the bench when he comes back fit. And that's what we have. So listen, let the people know where they can find you. What are you doing next?
Yeah, man. I'll be on Big Six later on. Make sure you like the video, people. Subscribe to the channel, man. And
who can talk to you? But to be fair, who can talk to you? Nobody else can talk to you.
Exactly,
I'm not gonna lie to you, Therapy Army. This has been we've named the podcast Real, Red. Raw, Real, and Red. That's what it is. That's how it is, right? So, and we've only got 90 likes, and there's 250 of you in here. It's an absolute shame. It's an absolute shame. But Saeed, let the people know. Let the people know.
Yeah.
So you're on the top 6. Yeah. Across all social media.
Social media, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, right there.
He's still tired from Wembley, aren't he? He's still not recovered.
Yeah, I'm not lying to you. Today was like a very, very struggle, man. It's just the journey, man. It's killer, man. I've been there 3 times this season. It's a lot, man. And when you don't come out of it with a win as well, it was a long day, man. We had to leave like 6 a.m, man. Big up to Adam.
Yeah.
you know,
Big
we
up,
was
big up,
in him.
Adam.
So yeah, man,
Yeah,
disappointed.
big
but
up.
we have to
Listen,
move.
love and light. Tom, let the people know where they can find you, bro.
Yeah, you can find me at TomJinList1 on Twitter, and I'll also be on one of my good friends, Red Devil Studio on G's channel later on to give a bit of a takeover update for anybody who's interested.
What's it called?
Red Devil Studio.
Red Devil Studio. So make sure you go and check Tom out there. Listen, I'm your host, Mr. Structure. I think the season has been, if you want the objectives, to me, I don't believe in a Mickey Mouse trophy. So the season in terms of top 3, Manchester United limping to 3, yes, but I take that into context. Why? Because Chelsea and Liverpool disappeared and Spurs their asses fell out. So that's the context of the season. Next season, Manchester United with his squad are not finishing even 5th. Mark my words. Unless there's 4, 5, 6 players in this team, in the starting lineup, not on the bench players. We're not getting anywhere with Mason Mount and all of that BS. So miss me out with that fucking bullshit. It is what it is.
Could be reality, mate. Could be reality.
I'm telling you, it is. We need starting lineup players to go into that squad.
How does that song go?
Yeah, Jim Ratratcliffe, you can suck on your mama, innit? You know what I mean? That's what you can do. Like, you can do that, innit? If you're letting the Glazers stay, you know where to go, innit? So I'll be doing a one-man protest, innit? I'll be there, I'll be carrying on, that's all I'm doing. And I will never fall for any of the BS, the PR, all of that spin, all of that's going on with this football club. I'm not believing in anything until I see it. The Glazers and Neil Ashton, we know who you are. Laurie Whitwell, I know who you are now. And one of these days, hopefully, you'll get your head out of Jim Ratcliffe's ass. So will you, the other guys who are on the Athletic as well, because your xenophobia is there for everybody to see. Football has changed. The horse is bolted. Billionaires are not moral. This country is not moral. Your own newspapers are not moral. So it is what it is. But big up to everybody. You can follow me. That guy, Mr. Structure. We'll be doing a show, obviously, looking at the transfer. I'm going to be doing throughout the summer. We're going to be doing
the debate shows, man. You need to get the debate shows going.
No. Listen, we're gonna do the debate shows, but we're also going to. I'm going to start doing a player profile. So the first player I'm going to play a profile is Casado, and why I think it's a travesty if Manchester United miss out on him. So you can follow us on there. But also we're going to be doing. We're going to be debunking the clickbaiters, innit? That podcast is going to come back now. Exposing the clickbaiters. That's what it is. Exposing the clickbaiters is coming back, mate. That's what it is. So we got us to do that. But big up to everybody. Saeed, good luck on the big 6 because nobody can speak to you. Spurs can't speak to you. Chelsea can't speak to you. Liverpool can't speak to you. You know what I mean? So give them some, lad. Give them some. Yeah. It is what it is. Love and light. Smash a like on the video. To me, the fact that you don't smash a like on the content, I don't know what else I can do, what else I can say. like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll see you out. Win, lose, or draw. Jim the Ratcliffe, Glazers out. Bankers out. Peace, love, light, always. Look after yourselves, people. And by the way, congratulations on the retirement of Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
Yeah,
thank you for the memories. Man. Yeah, thank you for the memories, and good luck in your future. He scored goals for Manchester United. It was a warrior. I would have loved to have had him on the football pitch Saturday. Someone like him, I would have loved it. Because you know what? When he's injured, Saeed, he doesn't play when he's injured. See, that's a player. When he's injured, he don't play. I've seen him do that when he got injured. Do that, get taken off.
Yeah.
Peace, love, light. Take care, people. Good night.
Love.